good morning, beautiful being. It's lovely to be with you. It's lovely to be awake. It's lovely to be here. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for this day. Can you tell I just came out of my happy place in the field? Much better than when I went in, by the way. Something came up yesterday and I thought I'll deal with that in the morning, and I did. Susanna, good morning. So it's windy out there, which is why I'm in here. Hi, Eric. So of course it means we continue to play with rocks. We have sea jasper today. This is very cute because it looks, there's a place somewhere that looks a bit like a map of the world. Oh, there you go. It looks a bit like a map of the world, you know. Heather, good morning. So, you know, there's the Pacific Ocean, sort of. But it's sea jasper, and sea jasper's wonderful because it's got all this wonderful detail. Mohammed, good morning. Just showing off the rocks inside today because it's way too windy to be out. And I don't know how well the colour comes through, but it's a dark green with these creamy splotches in it. And they're actually all little round, I don't know what you call them, but it's like little bubbles, like a little geode. Each of those little splotches is actually a little geode. If you could get close enough, you could see the concentric rings in them. So it's really pretty. Lovely little sea jasper ball. Now, what else have we got here today? I love this. This is amethyst. A friend gave this to me. And is it that aura amethyst? I don't know. It's the amethyst that's supposed to have a gazillion different elements in it, which makes it all special and spiritual. I can't remember. But I always look at this and I think, surely this crystal cannot have grown naturally. You know, it's got this little whatnot on the top. It's the weirdest shape. But these are all natural faces. It hasn't been shaped. It's grown like that. And I don't think it was a larger stone that's been broken up. So it puzzles me every time I look at it. It puzzles me because it's just such an odd shape. And look at that perfect chevron. So it's really quite glorious. And you can see it's a really lovely purple if I can catch the light through it. Taitanuya. There you go. This is the best one. You see that beautiful purple glow. There we go. I'm getting better at this. It's just a fabulous thing. Laura, good morning. And good evening and good afternoon. And whatever time of day it is for you. It's lovely to have you with me. So this is a fabulous thing. Really very fond of it. This, I don't even know what it is. It's some variety of quartz. It's probably some kind of agate that's just been tumble polished. I decided to come and play with this today. Very shiny, obviously. And if I catch the light right, you can see there's these beautiful dark browns and, you know, sort of misty white. It's nothing particularly spectacular. See, it's got this little dots. Obviously, there's a top and a bottom. And it's been polished, and that's the rough bit on the bottom. But I really like it. I just love. Oh look! It's like a cloud. I love these unusual things that if you stop and look at them, you see the beauty in them. Last but not least, something completely different. Our friend, the fluorite tetrahedron, and you think, oh, it's green, but actually, if you catch the light right, there you go. You can see that this top part of it really is white. It's white fluorite and green fluorite. There you go. It's beautiful. And again, this is a completely natural crystal. It hasn't been altered in any way. It's not perfect. It's just like us. It's got all its individual facets and roughnesses. And I just really like it. And look, you can see right through that wiggly line there. So, yeah, I'm very fond of fluorite. It's a fabulous stone. Look at that. Can see my finger right through it. It's very clear. So, all right, now getting to today's point. And I was thinking last night, as I do, what are we going to talk about? And what came into my awareness when I sort of tuned in and thought, is this? It really started off with the idea of, you know, to let in what you desire, you've got to let go of what you don't want. You've got to, you know, you can't be saying yes to two things at once, right? Because the universe just gets a confused signal and nothing is going to happen if you're, you know, in two minds. Hi, Julian. Morning. And as I played with the what if questions, because I only ever ask what if questions, because, you know, if you're asking a what if question, that means you're engaging your frontal lobe when you come up with an answer. Well, what if? How would it be? What would this be like? Really useful thing to do, rather than, oh, that stuff that happened in the past, or, oh, this thing I'm scared about in the future. Well, what if it could be like this? Much better question for me to ask. I never ask questions. And what it finally came to when I was dealing with these, you know, trying to shape what it was that was coming in, was something I haven't talked about for ages, which is, you know, financial abundance, and that whole thing that's sort of bandied around as, oh, do this magic thing and you'll have money tomorrow and you'll be a millionaire and tra-la-la-la-la. All of which, you know, never worked for me, right? And over the course of the last couple of years, and hello, I know there's somebody here with a whole bunch of flowers in your little round whatnot. Neither are you. I've seen you and greeted you, and Facebook hasn't told me, but, you know, hello, it's lovely to see you. And so what it came to was, let's talk about money. And the whole thing of this abundance consciousness that you're supposed to have while you're not necessarily financially abundant. Hi, Linda. Good morning. Because, you know, everybody's supposed to just be completely, oh, I'm so abundant and it's great. But how do you balance that with the fact that you've got bills to pay? Maybe you can't pay your bills. Maybe you're about to be kicked out of your house. Maybe, you know, whatever. How do you do this thing? And I have asked, perhaps consciously, perhaps unconsciously, over the years, I've sort of realised that's a question that I didn't really know how to answer. And I do have some idea about this now because I'm kind of doing that. And Laura, that's great that you can say money loves and supports me, because for such a long time it's like, money doesn't bloody love and support me. And I had this real thing about money. And actually I don't want to go off on that tangent because I'll lose what I wanted to say. We might get there later. What made the most sense and was most useful to me was to realise something along the lines of what I wrote in this post. That I need to know what it feels like to be financially abundant. I really need to know that. And I need to live from that space at the same time as I am dealing with my three-dimensional quote-unquote reality. So we live with 1 foot in 3 dimensions where, you know, life is happening and we have to deal with it. And another foot in 5 dimensions where there are limitless possibilities and limitless resource and I'm completely abundant. It's all happening. It's all here. And that's the game we're playing. That's the dance we're doing. And it's a really interesting thing because on my way to really understanding what it was that I was doing, this is, oh, you know, you've got to feel it. You've got to claim it, you've got to say all these things about how it is for you, but inside I wasn't feeling any of it. And you can say, oh, I'm wealthy, I trust all my bills will be paid, I know I'm safe. You can say that until you're blue in the face and you run out of air and, you know, but if you don't feel it viscerally in your body, yeah, and you could do it that way, Laura. I totally know. Some people can talk themselves into this stuff. I never could. I just couldn't. The resistance internally was way too deep for me. So I take my hat off to anybody that can talk themselves into believing that. Because that's a valid path to take. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I couldn't. So, you know, this is the dance that we do, where, you know, you're looking at your world and you're thinking, well, shit, there's, like, you know, this was my story, right? There's all this stuff in my house I can't repair. Now, I haven't yet shown you because it hasn't been easy, but most of the double glazing has been done. Half the house got done, not the whole house. And those of you who've been with me for a while remember that last year I wanted to do the whole house. Man, do you know I'm so grateful that the Family Trust did not have enough money to double glaze the whole house, because just getting half of it done, the half that really needed to be done, has been a massive exercise. Oh my God. So I'm very grateful that, you know, 4 rooms, not all of them. So it's perfect and it's beautiful. It's not quite finished because there's an area where the rot needed to be repaired and that takes time, and there's a sash being manufactured and all that stuff. But it's wonderful and it's making a good difference. So, you know, but there was, for a long time, there was a story in my head about all the stuff that wasn't happening. And, the renovations that simply couldn't be done. In fact, I now understand, because I have so much to do and had so much to do for a long time, because my husband had a serious injury and took a long time recovering, because, if we'd known what we know now, it would have happened a lot faster. But he simply couldn't help. And now he actually can. And so suddenly we can get things done together that I just couldn't do on my own, because it was just too damn hard, because it was just, there's too much to do. My life is really full. So that's like a miracle. But all of this before, 2 years ago, all of what was in my head was, this is just impossible. It can't happen. I can't do it. It's too much. I don't have the money to pay somebody else to do it. I could tell you the story. And for me, the very beginning part of climbing up my own internal mountain was realizing, well, I need to feel differently and I need to think differently. And, oh God, that's hard. And I don't really know how to do that. And, and I sort of practiced things and I began to shed ideas and beliefs and stuff. Yeah, well, I can't convince myself with words at all. I have to go in deep. I really have to get into my operating system, my autonomic nervous system, and when I am deep in my own neurology, if you like, my own consciousness, past all that chatter of the neocortex that we talked about yesterday, when that's all gone, then I can create and change. And it's been, it's wonderful. So I want to talk about this dance that we do though, right? Because now, I've been tuning into More Than Enough Maddie since August last year when I started doing that. And I really know what it feels like to be myself abundant now. I do not have $1 million in the bank, but I know what it feels like to have $1 million in the bank. That is a big distinction to make. I really had no idea. So I now know, I had to get to know that part of myself, and it took me some months, it took me some time, it took me some energy. For me, there's no quick fix, there's no easy way. I just have to do the work. Sunchia, morning gorgeous. I just have to do it. And by the way, it's not really work. It's like, oh my God, when can I go back in the field again? Because it's gorgeous. Because it's my happy place, because it's the place where I get to lose all of the limits and feel who I really am. And then I come back from that space with a clearer remembrance and a knowing of who I am. And I can face the fact that, I've still got all of this stuff to deal with from that space, rather than from the other space of, oh God, it's all much in my, like for the last week or so, I haven't had much yoga and my body's noticed. Man, I don't know how people cope without doing yoga at least 3 or 4 times a week, but they do. But I just really notice, I really notice a difference in my physicality. Because it's been disrupted, okay? All of my patterns have been disrupted. Chaos is something that happens when you have change. Yeah, yes, Dr. Joe's meditations just mean you can very easily change from a much deeper level in yourself. And then when you come back out of that space, because you've literally changed the neural networks in your brain, and some of the old ones that you say, oh, that's impossible, I can't do that, simply do not exist anymore. It's not there for you to use that to go, this is hard, this is impossible, I'm scared, whatever it is. So it becomes easier to hold the state of being that you desire in the middle of everything else. Elizabeth, morning gorgeous. Yeah. Oh yeah, look, divine timing, Eric. And it's totally our creation, right? Rusty, lovely to see you. It's totally our creation, and it's divine timing because it's our timing. And if I change myself and I change the timing, well, then it's still divine timing and it's always perfect. So I know what you're saying. I really do know what you're saying. And it's always perfect divine timing until I change it. And then the next way that I make it is different, but it's just as perfect. So it's, we do this dance and holding my truth, the truth of who I am and who I choose to be and what's true for me, here I am challenged with bills that I can't pay, for example. And am I going to allow that exterior three-dimensional reality that there are bills I can't pay to continue to dictate how I feel? Am I going to feel the normal survival response, which is, oh my God, I'm scared. I can't pay these bills right now. Which then, sends you into a spin, sends your body into stress, all of that. And, and there's a state that goes with that. Or am I going to say, hang on a minute, I know what it's like to feel like I have $1 million in the bank. Can I take a moment or a minute or 10 minutes or however long I can possibly take to remember that state of being and look at these bills that I can't currently pay from that space? That is a very practical application of what I'm talking about, where, I've still got these things going on. Yeah, and more than enough is totally abundant. For me, more than enough is totally abundant. More than enough is more than enough. It's everything, right? Those are just the words that work for me. We got to choose whatever, whatever vibes. So the thing about looking at the bills that I can't pay, and I'm not currently in this situation, but I'm just, I'm creating a story here. Looking at the bills that I can't pay and thinking, okay, I have a choice to be in fear or I have a choice to be in my future self. And then this is where the analytical thinking brain becomes useful, right? Because if I'm in fear, the only things that are happening in my head and in my body are equal to that state of being. So I'm probably not going to come up with any useful alternatives about these bills I can't pay. If I'm looking at those bills from the state of being of, I have $1 million in the bank, the first thing that I'm going to start to be able to think about is, okay, I probably need to ring the people to do with these bills and talk to them and say, this is what's going on. This is when I'm expecting money to come in. This is when I'm not expecting money, and you start to think, okay, what are my choices? What can I practically do? So the brain has its place. The analytical thinking brain in beta is absolutely valuable. When you're no longer in fear, then you can think, because that possibility of working with the people that you owe money to or whatever, talking to them, but not in a state of fear, not going to this person saying, oh my God, I can't pay, I'm really worried, I'm really sorry, I'm desperate. And of course, that again, knowing your information can come into your nervous system or your life that isn't equal to the fear. So they're probably going to respond to that fear and say, oh, no. But if you come from a state of, hey, this is a situation, I've got $1 million in the bank that I haven't seen, but I know this is going to be okay. This bill's going to get paid. Now let's find a way to make sure that it does, because you would rather be paid than have me be desperate and, all scared in your ear and not pay the money, right? So you think very differently when you're not in that space of fear. Yeah, the word enough always sounds so small for you, so you need a different word, Linda. You need a different word. So more than abundant, maybe, More than enough for me is great. Really works. More than abundant. There's been a lot of stuff around the word abundant for me, or abundance. So that's why I don't use it for my own, this is what I'm becoming. Choose the word that works for you, So that's the point I'm really making, that whatever three-dimensional stuff we're facing, my body is sick, my partner just left, my kids, having a problem with me or whatever. I don't like my job, I don't like the people I work with. We have the choice about whether we stay in the old habitual way of being that we've been about those kinds of things forever, since we were conditioned into it and unconsciously decided this is how I respond to people or things or situations or whatever. We have that choice, and we have another choice, which is to decide who we actually are, who we really want to be, how we want to behave, how we want to show up, how we want to think, feel and act, and inhabit that while we're still dealing with three-dimensional reality. And the thing about that is that when you come at three-dimensional reality from the space of thinking and feeling and behaving like your future self, you are much more likely to move your three-dimensional reality towards the way it's going to be when you are your future self. If you are coming from the past, you're going to get more of the same. It just keeps going around and around and around. That's the law. That's how it works. So that's really what I wanted to outline and explain today, that we have this choice, and it's very immediate. It's very immediate. Oh, I'm running late for work today, and there's never enough time. This is a thing that I just changed in a meditation with Joe recently. It's a new one that I haven't done before, changing beliefs and perceptions. The belief, there's never enough time. You know what he does with that whole thing, because he's a big one for me, this is what he says. Try that one. He says, I live in no time and I accomplish everything. And I thought, I'll have that. So I went into the field and I did that. And that now, because I've had so much, oh my God, there's so much today. And yesterday was really, really, really busy. But because I'd fired and wired this and made a really deep decision, I live in no time and I accomplish everything. You know what I did? I know I'll be challenged on that. My life is going to get more busy because I've got a lot to do. That's what I'm here for. I live in no time. I accomplish everything. It's what I'm choosing to inhabit now. It's a much better place to come from all of these things that I want to get done than, oh God, I can't do it all, which is really what I used to feel. So that's my choice, day to day. That's my choice, and that's our choice, whether it's money or relationships or work or, health, it just doesn't matter. We get to choose. And by the way, with health, when you inhabit the thing is, I'm scared about you're just reinforcing, you're firing around the same thing, sending the same chemistry, nothing is going to change. You inhabit the space that I am well, and I'm so grateful because I'm well. You change your chemistry and you program your cells and your body differently. That's just how it works. Epigenetics in action. All right. It's Tuesday. I'm going to be back in about 3.5 hours to share updates on our beautiful Sang Marie Gomez. I'll look forward to seeing you then if you're able to join us. Big love. Thank you for being with me today. Bye-bye.